Hi everyone. So today it has been reported on June 6th, 2022, which is your 666, that there are 3 dead, 11 wounded in a shooting in Philadelphia on the weekend. This occurred on the weekend. It occurred at the same time as another shooting in Chattanooga, which I am not covering in this particular video. This particular video is just covering the shooting in Philadelphia. I am just recovering from a cold, so please forgive my voice, and I will probably take it slowly so I don't lose my voice. So this comes on the heels of several other shootings across the United States. There's been quite a few shootings lately. There's a big one in Texas recently. They're putting in the media quite a bit, and one in Brooklyn, New York, some weeks ago. I didn't have a chance to cover these because I've been busy with other things, but there's quite a bit of codes in those events as well. I decided to cover this one because I saw some interesting things. So let's see what this reveals.
Steve Healy joins us live. Steve, welcome into the show. What is the latest and what exactly went down over the weekend at Philadelphia?
Okay, so first of all, he's standing in front of a sign that says, "Don't block the box." The box being the cube or the matrix system that we're in. I guess blocking the box could represent ending the system. Maybe you can interpret it another way. He's also standing in front of a sign that says Barbara Jeeps. So that's BJ or JB, which is your Joaquin Boaz. And then there's several posters behind him. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bit out of focus. One says freedom and another one says free.
Let's start with the positive news. The latest is the death toll has not climbed. Everybody who was critically wounded is still alive thanks to the terrific surgeons here in Philadelphia. And sadly, one of the reasons they're so terrific is they have a lot of experience saving gunshot victims. We had the most people murdered ever in one single year here. You see 3 lit candles here at the corner of one of the most popular places for tourists and residents to hang out, South Street. 3 candles lit for the 3 people killed here, 2 in their 20s, 1 young man, 34 years old, and you'll see him pull a gun.
Notice the shattered glass. This is another symbol for breaking the glass or breaking the mirror, shatter the mirror. This is about shattering the illusion or the veil, and this has come up in multiple events. Breaking windows, broken windows, breaking the glass.
Out of his waistband, the man he's walking with also had a gun, and they start pistol whipping another man that they want to fight with. And that becomes a gunfight real quick, and then the gunfire starts, and that's where the 2 other innocent bystanders were shot and killed. But that wasn't the only gunfire. Then apparently others heard the gunshots and started shooting toward this gunfire. 5 different guns were fired into a crowd. Police now going through lots of video because this is such a popular street. They already have, as we come back to a live picture, lots of city video cameras here with surveillance that captured that whole fight. But there's also lots of private cameras that captured it as well, in addition to cell phone video from some of the folks that took some shots. And
Here's another JB for your Joaquin Boaz, your twin pillars. And grill, so grill with the G in the middle, your G representing generative power or God. To go, the 2 is in green, go is green, so this is also a reference to Venus, and there's several other references to come.
Then ran for their lives as well. So a big investigation going on, and obviously Philly police, the #1 person that they want to meet and talk to and get in custody is that survivor of that fight that you saw there. The man.
See here it says I am free, and it says freedom.
Who had his shirt ripped was in critical condition at last check. He was shot and wounded, but apparently saved himself by fighting over that gun with the other young man that came up to him armed along with Mr. Jackson.
Now, Steve, just to confirm.
He is on a black and white crosswalk. So there's your cross, X marks the spot, and it's black and white for your duality.
There are no suspects in custody at this time, correct? Where does the investigation stand at this moment?
Yeah, nobody in custody at last check with Philadelphia police overnight. They've got 2 of the 5 guns fired. What happened was
5 guns. Number 5 is a reference to Venus.
they got the gun that Mr. Jackson pulled out of his waistband, they say. Another gun they got, as Philly police are stationed here, but one of the officers first on the scene running toward the gunfire saw an active shooter and then ordered that man 3 times to put his gun down. He didn't, so police ended up firing.
See how he's reenacting the shootout? He's dramatizing, narrating, and basically retelling the story as if he was there. That's not really what a journalist is supposed to do.
Firing at him, and the officer believes he shot that man, but so far nobody has showed up wounded at the hospital that appears to be that man. So the officer thought he shot him, maybe he didn't, maybe the guy's walking around with graze wounds. And sadly, that was the second shooting here on South Street within 4 days. Memorial Day also had.
South Street this happened on South Street, and this South has been a code in multiple events for months now. South is out, South is sun, sun is the way out.
A mega shootout here that had gun bullets going into stores and people's homes here. So 2 mass shootings within 1 week here in Philadelphia.
Now you see this woman who just walked into the shot here. It's not by coincidence that she happens to show up while they're shooting here. Pay attention to what is on her sweatshirt.
Yeah, in that short time. Memorial Day was so deadly here. The 3-day Memorial weekend, 15 people shot and killed here in Philadelphia, and just...
It says it's a rough life rescue. RR, which is your rear right, your Rolls Royce. RR, your 4x4. Green candle in the middle, 2 white candles. Green candle is also a reference to Venus. I'm going to mention too that yellow is a color for friendship, and there was shooting in Texas. Texas means friend, and then there was another event that happened at another event happened somewhere else. I forget now, but that also was connected to friend. So I'm not quite sure what that is referring to, but the fact that these friendship or friend keeps coming up, I thought I would mention it.
3 day. You finish Memorial Day with 15 shot and killed, and then days later you have a mass shooting here on one of the most populated streets on a...
See, big X in the middle. X marks the spot. Barbara Jeep still there. Now here's another bus. I'm going to point out what's on the bus in a second.
Yes, sir.
So again, you have South Street, world famous, fresh to go, red and green, to green, go, green, juice bar and grill, covered that. Image, like the projection, the image, this is all an illusion. This is 2 4s is your RR again, your wheel 4x4. 4 times 2 is 4 and 4. 4x4. Here you got Cashmere Care, which is your CC for your 33.
Steve Healy with an excellent update. Steve.
CCC, Comfort and Compassion, and I can't read this one, but there is a C there. So more 3s. Okay, so here's another report from NBC 10 Philadelphia.
Right now on NBC 10 News, mass shooting on South Street 14.
There's a U-Haul here. To me, it sounds similar to Uvalde. U-Haul, Uvalde. It's similar. It's not the same. But Uvalde was where the Texas school shooting was. It says, move yourself and save. While these people are moving themselves to save themselves. Kind of poetic, don't you think?
People shot, 3 killed in a burst of bullets that sent crowds of people running for their lives.
That looks sped up to me. I'm gonna play that back.
Right now on NBC 10 News, mass shooting on South Street. 14 people shot, 3 killed in a burst of bullets that sent crowds of people running for their lives. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, that was definitely sped up, and it looked like there were frames missing.
A burst of bullets that sent crowds of people running for their lives. Thanks for watching this special streaming.
Who describes shooting in a burst of bullets? It's BB. Look at her hand signal right there for the diamond pattern. That just represents the matrix system, the diamond fabric of this reality, the XX, the IXXI. So this is Rosemary Connors. Rosemary. Mary and Rose. Rose is the heart. Mary means rebellion, bitter, beloved, or exalted one.
Edition of NBC 10 News, I'm Rosemary Connors. The shooting happened as hundreds were enjoying Saturday night in one of Philadelphia's most popular destinations. But when the gunfire erupted around 11:30, they scrambled for cover and 2 innocent bystanders lost their lives. Law enforcement sources tell NBC 10 this video is key evidence in the investigation.
This to me is incredibly interesting that it happens outside this ice custard happiness Rita's red and white striped shop. Well, the red and white representative of the North Pole, the barber shop. So I covered all of that in my decode of the Canadian trucker protest. So if you want more details on that, you can find it in there. But Rita's means pearl. Pearl is Venus. Rita's ice, custard, and happiness. Obviously ice to freeze, but also it references slang for diamonds. So another reference to diamonds. Diamonds is what you get when you harden carbon. You put pressure on carbon. So you put pressure on people and you harden them into diamonds. Custard comes from the root crust. So it refers to a tart or a pie, or a shell, or bark, and it also means to freeze. Crystal. So crystal is connected directly to Christ. And when you are in Christ consciousness, you are crystallized. You are in the Emerald City. So when you've been put under pressure and you rise, you're in Christ consciousness, you're in the Emerald City, you become a diamond. Then the other word is happiness, which references good fortune. It is also the source of good fortune, or the source of happiness would be eudaimonic, which is good demon or good genius. And so when you are in Christ consciousness and you are crystallized diamond, then you will harvest good fortune. You will harvest your genius. You be in touch with your genius.
NBC 10, this video is key evidence in the investigation. You can see the man in the white shirt pulls a gun as a fight breaks out with 2 others on South Street between 2nd and 3rd. Then
notice this took place in Queen Village. So this past weekend, the Queen celebrated her 70th year on the throne to celebrate her platinum jubilee. It's kind of a big deal.
you hear gunfire. The person taking the cell phone video gets down. Sources.
I find it strange that the reporter in the other video just said that there were cameras everywhere that captured the whole thing, and the footage this channel shows is one of a cell phone from this distance away who doesn't capture the shooting on camera, just the audio of it. So if they captured it all, why didn't they show it? And you know, this happened on the weekend, so they've had, say, about 24 hours ish to gather all this information, and considering the other information they managed to gather in that time, details on the people involved, finding other people in their lives and what they did in their lives and talking to those people and tracking them down and getting interviews with them. It is a lot of work they managed to get within the 24 hours, but they're not using the footage from the actual security cameras.
Tell us the man in the white shirt is dead, one of the 3 people killed last night. According to police, after the bullets began flying. And
then there's a Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs actually has an interesting meaning. Hagen means high or horse and descendant. So to me, that to me suggests that some sort of high status descendant. And then Dawes is wealthy, small, and great.
On patrol, fired and struck one of the shooters. The gunman dropped his weapon and ran away. It's unclear exactly how many people were involved, but police believe at least 5 different guns were used. The police commissioner described the chaos as devastating.
Yesterday was a dark day for Philadelphia.
Now, this woman's name is Danielle Outlaw, and Danielle means God is my judge, and outlaw just means to banish or you live outside the law.
And while many of us were out enjoying the beautiful day in the city, horrendous and unthinkable acts happened in a very popular local and tourist hangout.
We have team coverage tonight. NBC 10's Brian Sheehan.
So again, she's reporting from Queen Village and he's reporting from Francisville. So village refers to farmstead, clan, wake, W-E-I-K, which is a root word, and that also means wick or house or settlement. Again, this was referenced in the Canadian trucker event, Decoded, I did, and that has to do with this place that we live in. This is the farmstead. So Francis means free man. Now, this goes back to Gabby Petito, goes back to any mention of Charles, Charlie, Charlotte, Caroline, Carolina. That all means free man, husband. So the fact that it's queen and free man, when you become a free man, when you become kinged or queened, crowned, corona, and your way out is through the sun. So South Street, free man, you become queen, you exit through the south.
Is at Girard College in Francisville. That's where one of the victims worked. But let's start with NBC 10's Karen Hua. She's on South Street. And Karen, you spoke to neighbors who tell you they are disturbed and fed up.
Yeah, that's right, Rosemary. When you think of
her name is Karen, which is Crown.
This part of South Street, you probably think of busy bars, restaurants, and clubs. And yes, that is the case often on Saturday nights, but this part is also a vibrant residential area. Families live here, and they say they're usually used to loud noise, but the residents we spoke to say that they have not seen anything or heard anything like the deadly mass shooting last night.
This hits home. This is where we live every day. And you have to be able to send your kids to school. You got to be able to walk down South Street without having your life in your hands.
It started.
Here's one of the street cams. This is pretty good resolution considering it's a security camera. Usually they're crap. But I'm sure it worsens as time goes on.
Busy night on.
Now, Bitchute, F-O-Y. So there's bridge, the word bridge. That's also appeared in multiple events. And bridge is the Rainbow Bridge, or the bridge between worlds.
South Street. Until this.
We're going to need everybody. We got multiple victims. We got hundreds of people.
Police say 2 men got into a fight, then started shooting at each other and into the crowd. 14 people shot, 3 killed. Of the dead, 1 of the shooters and 2 innocent bystanders, according to police. Officials also tell us an officer fired at one of the shooters, causing the shooter to drop his gun and run away. Police believe the officer's bullet hit the man. In this witness video, you hear at least a dozen bangs, then the crowd screaming and run out.
All of a sudden, we just see this mass.
Department Con. So the reporter was named Connors, and then there's a future reference coming up with Quinn, which is also related to Con.
People run down 4th Street heading north, and looking at them, it looked like a bunch of teenagers.
Kayla Harnish, who lives on South Street, witnessed the chaos firsthand. She and other nearby residents say police are almost always patrolling South Street on weekend nights. Police are still looking into the exact motive. Officials say at least 5 guns were involved, one of which had a high-capacity magazine.
Furious.
Oh, this lady's hilarious. She's got the Under Armour for the as above, so below symbol. You can even see she's got it on top of another shirt, and this is also a brand new shirt.
I am furious, not just for my neighborhood,
She looks furious, doesn't she?
for the whole country.
Now, her name is Maureen, and that means Star of the Sea, which is basically the same as Mary.
If I hear one more time, thoughts and prayers.
According to the National Gun Violence Archive, this marks 245 mass shootings so far this year.
Of the 3 people killed, 2 were innocent bystanders, and we're learning more about those innocent bystanders. One was 27-year-old Alexis Quinn.
Okay, so Alexis Quinn, the first thing that struck me is her initials is AQ, which is Q&A or question and answer. Alexis means helper or defender, and Quinn is descendant of Con. There's another Con, and Con means head, to know. Con means to know, head, leader, intelligence, or essence. Quinn means essence. Quinn also is connected to Kino, Q-I-N-O, or Queen. So again, another reference to Queen. Queen is also connected to Gwen, G-W-E-N, or it also means woman. So Gwen is the root for Gwendolyn, and Gwendolyn means to shine, which is Venus. So again, I think that's a reference to the pineal gland.
The other was Chris Minners. He worked with 2nd graders at Girard College. NBC 10's Brian Sheehan is live there for us. And Brian, those who knew him say students lost a good role model. Tell us more.
And then Girard College. Girard means brave spear, and college is an organized association of people with certain powers and rights engaged in a common duty or pursuit. So that doesn't have to mean literally a college. This would be referencing the people with the brave spear, especially since it's in Freemanville or Francisville.
Likely a lot of heartbroken children tonight. We learned that Chris Minners worked here at Girard College. He was a
Christopher Minners. Christopher, is like referencing Christ. Minners is supposed to mean lover. So love. Christ is Christ consciousness. So if you're living in Christ consciousness, you are a free man, and you are part of the Girard College.
2nd grade boys resident advisor. Minners is one of 3 people killed last night. 11 others were shot but survived, including Rusty Crow. He was on South Street to see a friend perform at Dobbs on South. He says he stepped outside, heard the commotion, and then the gunshots. He looked down and saw he had been shot in his left leg. Crowell's a nurse, and so he tried helping the other victims, including one who was unresponsive.
4 or 5 cops went, grabbed him by the extremities, and just...
His name is Rusty, and this is a throwback to the Alec Baldwin shooting on the set of Rust. And rust means red oxide of iron. You can go back to my Spider-Man Decode for the meaning of iron and Iron Man and his appearance. Spiritual corrosion, moral canker is what rust references. And it also means red, Rudy, or Adam. So it could represent your lower nature. So if you're rusty, it means that you are in your lower nature. Crow represents the corona, the crown, the blackbird, and well means water. And this is June 5th, 11:39 p.m. So this is NBC, Philadelphia.
A mass shooting on South Street. Gunfire erupts on a Saturday night. 14 people shot, 3 of them killed.
We're going to need everybody. We got multiple victims. We got hundreds of people.
4 or 5 cops went, grabbed him by the extremities and just threw him in the back seat of the car.
Tonight, we're hearing from witnesses who watched people run for their lives.
All of a sudden, we just see this mass of people run down 4th Street heading north.
And we're hearing from one of the victims who almost lost his life.
And he was 2 feet away from me. So, could have very easily been me.
Tonight, how police say they're taking action, and we take a closer look at the video showing the fight that may have started it all.
Yeah, Rosemary, as you can see, I'm on South Street, and it's...
Her name is Claudia Vargas, CV. CV. Your 322. 322 is your skull and bones, your phoenix.
completely shut down to traffic, and you'll see increased police presence, which business owners and residents we spoke with say they appreciate, because in the weeks leading up to yesterday's mass shooting, there was increased chaos, from cars spinning out of control and crashing into buildings to just last Tuesday, another shooting. Starting at 8 p.m., South Street is closed to traffic. Police say it's to avoid crowds and any further violence. Residents in the area say it's needed.
I think safety is paramount, especially when you have kids.
Mike Harris is head of the Business Association, representing many of the shops and restaurants along South Street.
Well, certainly seeing more police down here is great.
But police presence last night did not deter the shooters.
This still took place right here in front of police officers, within yards of police officers. So I guess it's that kind of brazen indifference.
He says some businesses had already started closing early due to the increased safety concerns.
We're assessing whether it needs to be adjusted.
So they're closing down the streets to be safe. Perhaps this is a new trend. They want us to demand that the streets be closed down. The cameras and the police are still not enough to deter this criminal activity, and they want to close businesses and close streets and keep people away from downtown. I don't like the sound of it. Again, this is more on the sort of conspiracy level, but has to be said.
Just earlier this week, another shooting took place at 4th and South.
This week has been a little worse than usual.
Hussein says more police presence would help people feel safe and perhaps deter crime.
Last year, I remember it was leaving work and there were always cops all over the place, and it wasn't as often we had the issues.
And police say they're still investigating the incident. They haven't announced any arrest. As for the street closures, it's closed till 6 a.m., and that is between Lombard and Bainbridge and Front and 6th Street.
Lombard and Bainbridge were two of the streets they mentioned. Lombard means awkward to move, so to lumber or Lombard. Lombard also means long beard or a banker or money changer, but on the lower end, it's like a pawnbroker. Bainbridge, Bain being bath, is French for bath, which is a container of a body of water. So bridge over body of water, bridge between two worlds, bridging water. Water refers to currency, so it's the bridge asset, bridging to banks, which is also referenced in Lombard, which is the banker. So you have the banker and the bridge asset. The bridge asset is XRP, the bridge between the two worlds, as above, so below. The X in XRP, the 322, your Phoenix. Lombard is the old system, which is awkward to move. So we need a new system that's going to bridge the old world to the new world. It is the bridge asset, so that's why the road is closed.
Yeah, Rosemary, the victims range in ages. The youngest, 17, as you said. The oldest victim, 69 years old. Tonight, we are learning more about
17 or 8. 8 is the infinity loop. 69 is the Cancer sign, which is also infinity. It is the yin yang.
I'm doing fine, but I'm just in a daze. I just can't put it all together.
Rusty Kroll tells me he still can't wrap his mind around what happened to him on South Street Saturday night. The 69-year-old was the
Do you see much of an injury here? What is that? There's no blood, no cotton padding underneath this bandage. If it was bleeding, it would have seeped through. So what happened to him? What is his injury?
South Street Saturday night. The 69-year-old was the victim of a mass shooting.
He had a cactus on the table, and cactus has thorns. Thorn is an anagram for throne, thorn or spike, acer or ak, which is also connected to spire, which is also connected to spear, as in brave spear. So if you remember earlier in the video, brave spear went to Girard College. So if you have a strong spirit, spear, spire, then you are going to Girard College. And on the cactus, it said "Can't Touch This," which was a song by MC Hammer. And hammer is a stone on a stick. The etymology of a hammer is that it came from a stone on a stick, and it is a sharp stone, so that comes from AK. It comes from the root word of cammer, hammer, cammer, akmer. Ak is to pierce or point, and again, ak or acer was referenced in my decode for the Canadian Truckers event. So if you want more information on that, I suggest you go watch that video.
The South Philly resident says he was at Dobbs on South to see a friend perform and heard commotion when he stepped outside shortly before midnight.
I thought everybody's having a good time. It's fireworks, you know. But then I looked down at my leg and there's blood just gushing down the back of my leg.
Police say shots were fired
They were trying to say that his wound is on the back side, not on the front side.
between 2nd and 3rd Streets, injuring 14 people and killing 3 of them. On Sunday night, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw identified 2 of the victims as 27-year-old Alexis Quinn and 34-year-old Gregory Jackson.
And everybody's just so sad, devastated.
Tracy Medley with Millennium Skate World in Camden says
This is pretty interesting. So they managed to find out enough about one of the victims' lives that they found out that he frequents this skating rink, and found the some woman who works there, and he went there often enough that she would know personal details about him. I mean, how often does a man go to a skating rink? They go there growing up. I don't know what a 34-year-old man is doing at a skating rink on a regular basis, but apparently he was
a longtime customer.
He would be very happy when he would walk in the door, just light up and just be so excited to be.
Her name is Tracy Medley. So Tracy means warlike, fighter, more powerful, superior. And medley means combat, war, battle, metal, mix. So it's like a mix or a combination of things. Musical composition of diverse parts and from different sources. So a mix combined, bringing together of different components into one composition.
Here and then just walk around, shake hands, hugs with everybody, and he had a lot of friends here, and a lot of his family would come here and skate as well.
So millennial means 1,000 years. Skating rink, skating has to do with to get away with something, or on wheels. Wheels referencing the wheels within wheels, the tarot wheel, the new rota, the new wheels, R&R, 4x4. Skate is a shank, or shank, which is a leg, and the man we saw was wounded in the leg, so this has a reference to running. All of the people were running from the shots. This is the last leg of the race, and race has been prevalent in many decodes, and race has multiple meanings. And if you want to know about that, I suggest you go watch my previous videos on, well, pretty much anything. It should be there. Has to do with water, has to do, well, you know, race, running race, as well as a black and white race, the human race. And rink. Rink is a measured ground for combat. This woman's name is Tracy Medley. Both her names reference combat or war. A rink, she works at a roller rink, which is a measured ground for combat, is something curved or circle. A ring, it comes from the root sker, S-K-E-R, which is to turn or bend. Again, that has to do with the toroid. Circle, circus, circuit, corona, crown, ring, rink.
Girard College in Philadelphia, and in a statement Sunday, a school spokesperson said Minners was an innocent bystander who was shot while celebrating his birthday.
Minners means lover, and Christopher, again, Christ consciousness. He was shot while celebrating his birthday. Now, birthday has been a code that has popped up many times as well. Has to do with being reborn, leaving behind the physical. The Christ was sacrificed, he was killed, leaving behind the physical to be reborn in the spiritual.
Shooting, and they got caught up with.
Kroll says he's lucky to be alive and is grateful for the support from the community.
Well, we are the city of brotherly love, and that's what I see.
You know what I see? I don't see any tears.
It gets you. You're good people, Philadelphia.
We spoke to Maureen Long this morning, who heard the mass shooting from her bedroom.
I'm in bed and I hear rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, and I'm thinking, is that a gun? No, it can't be a gun. It just can't be a gun. It can't be.
This is your neighbor. This is your neighborhood. How you feeling? I mean, sad, mad,
furious. I am furious. Not.
Did you catch that?
This is your neighbor. This is your neighborhood. How you feeling? I mean,
right
sad,
there.
mad,
furious. I am furious, not just for my neighborhood, for the whole country. If I hear one more time, thoughts and prayers.
The Philadelphia Eagles are honoring the victims and survivors of gun violence. Here's a live look at Lincoln Financial Field, which is lit up in orange for gun violence awareness. Tomorrow, Philadelphia police are holding a gun buyback event at the link.
She threw to the Lincoln Financial Field. This is a reference to President Lincoln and the founding of the national bank system. To promote opportunity, a dynamic economy, and a stronger union, Lincoln and Chase conceived the national banking system and the office of the comptroller of the currency to regulate and supervise it. Lincoln took pride in signing the National Currency Act, which he believed would provide great benefit to the people and the government. The national system, he declared in this State of the Union message of 1864, will create a reliable and permanent influence in support of the national credit and protect the people against losses in the use of paper money. We are in a place right now where we are about to change the banking system. So this is why they put this in there. This is a reference to the new financial system. Okay, so here's another report from 6 ABC Philadelphia, June 5th.
They fired into a crowd of hundreds. Here's a look at exactly where the shooting happened in the 200 block of South Street.
So it happened between 2nd and 3rd Street for your 23.
After the gunshots rang out, people in the crowd ran, terrified, down the block.
Officers nearby saw the shooting unfold, and one of them, we are told, fired at the suspect. It is unclear if the suspect was hit.
We have been following this shooting all night long and have team coverage for you this afternoon. Becca Hendrickson has been focusing on the victims who were taken to 3 local hospitals.
But let's start at the scene of the shooting with Sharifa Jackson, who joins us live with the very latest. Sharifa.
But police say that this all began when multiple shooters were shooting into the crowd. And
is that a 33 on her shirt? With Argyle socks for your diamond pattern and your Nike swoosh for victory? Oh my goodness. Could they be any more obvious? Wow.
They we're hearing from neighbors who are just saying there's a lot of commotion from what they saw and also neighbors and what they heard. Police say they're quick to action. An officer who confronted one of the shooters, the officer was reportedly 10 to 15 yards away from the suspect when the chaos.
So they keep showing this tiny faux diamond purse with a tube of paya coming out of it, and there's a nickel, or I think that it's either a nickel or it's a quarter on it. I think it might be a nickel. If it's a nickel, then that ties into Jefferson, because Jefferson is on the nickel, which Jefferson wanted to create he was opposed to the banking system, which I'll get to in a minute. The diamond refers to diamond hands, know what you hold, diamond being XRP. Paya could be referring to payer or payment system. The etymology that I was getting connected to paya or paya, it kept going to payment, paya, payer. So it looks to me like they're putting this here as a symbol of the diamond of the new payment system is XRP. The paya is the payment, and it's reaching out to the nickel, which is the old payment system. And if you look at the handle of the purse, it's winding its way around, and it bridges the gap between the two pavement. There's a gap between the pavement, it bridges the gap. I mean, it's a small thing, but it's a big thing, and they keep throwing at it, so it means something. See here, there's a crisscross for your XX, your diamond pattern again.
Right now, they're still working to find out more information and especially find a motive why all of this began in the first place. They say that investigation is just now beginning. They're focusing now on surveillance video. We have been seeing officers going inside of most of these businesses trying to see if they had any. We know at least one location here does have video that shows this particular block between 3rd and American with some very clear video, as they said, and police say this will be key as they move forward.
Well, I actually spoke with one of the victims who came outside here on crutches. He was shot in his foot, and he says he has an entirely new outlook on life after that. He said it was traumatizing overnight when the chaos started down on South Street. Like I said, he was shot in the foot. He was brought here to Jefferson Health, and he's now recovering.
We had a lot of shenanigans, a lot of teenagers out there. And what happened is that you had some, sick maniac. I don't know who it was because my back was turned, and start shooting at everybody. Some people made it, some people didn't. Me personally, I see 2 people, die right in front of my face. So
he was one of 10 people who was treated here at Jefferson Health overnight.
The hospital name is Jefferson, named after the founding father. The founding fathers, 1776. They also started the new financial system. I think it's worth noting that Jefferson was vehemently opposed to the banking system. He worried that it would not only have the power to increase or lessen the money supply, but could play havoc with the economy in general, which is the experience we are going through right now. The American founding fathers originally intended a monetary system quite different from the one we have now. In fact, they had hoped to prevent many of the fiscal and economical problems with which our present monetary system is afflicted. Their system relied on 4 major principles. People's representatives in Congress must develop and carefully control the money system. To be honest, a medium of exchange must have intrinsic value, or in other words, it must have value in and of itself, which money does not have. You could argue that nothing does here other than you. There must be no fractional reserve banking, which we do have, in order to prevent undue pressure on the demand for money and to make sure federal officials did not have so much power that could be bought off. The founders clearly said that money from the federal treasury can be spent only for the 20 powers listed in Article 1, Section 8, and then only if such expenditures were for the general welfare, or in other words, if such expenditures benefited the whole nation, not specific groups, locations, or businesses. So they went against the founders' monetary system And again, remember, the Founding Fathers were Freemasons. So, take it whatever way you want.
Sources also say 2 of the people who died from their injuries were a 26-year-old woman who was shot in the rib cage and a 22-year-old man who was shot in the back. A third victim, a 34-year-old man shot twice in the stomach and twice in the back, was pronounced dead at Penn Presbyterian, according to sources.
The other report said that it was not 22, but 17. So which is it? Is it 22 or is it 17? That's quite a big difference in each.
Total 15 people who were shot, and more people could have been injured in the chaos on South Street with so many people, hundreds who were out on the street that.
There's another moving truck, U-Haul. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel. If you like my content, kindly consider leaving a contribution, like, share, subscribe, leave a supportive comment, and be sure to subscribe to my backup channels and visit my website.